I'm Lucy Mitchell and I'm the past chair of the Board of Trustees for the Scottish Association of Young Farmers Clubs, which is an organisation with 3,500 members that looks to develop rural youth from the ages of 14 to 30. And I still sit on the board, and in my day job I am the Events and Engagement Manager for the James Hutton Institute. The Scottish Association of Farmers Clubs is an amazing organisation that looks to develop the rural youth of Scotland between the ages of 14 and 30. And we have 3,500 members all around Scotland, and we develop them through a range of different activities such as competitions, such as speech making and stock judging. Also, there's opportunities in terms of learning. We've got leadership courses and opportunities to travel, as well as a brilliant social network. And I was very fortunate to join the organisation when I was a teenager. And the way that the organisation works is that the members run the organisation and you're elected into positions as a result of the memberships voting. And I have spent the past 10 years being involved in the organisation and taking on different roles to then being finally elected as the chair of the Board of Trustees last year. And that's how I got involved with becoming a trustee of the organisation, was through my past experience with it. So our board is very unique, where the majority of our board is members, where that means that the majority of them are between the ages of 14 and 30. And that's very unique in terms of the age. It's a very young age for a board. And I think that's a really valuable opportunity for our members and for anyone of a younger age to take on a board role, because you learn about how another organisation works, you learn how to work at a strategic level, and you develop your skill set that you typically wouldn't be able to develop until later on in your career once you reach that level through your career progression. So I think it's a great opportunity for young people to take on these roles and learn about another organisation at that level. And on the flip side, it's a fantastic opportunity for charities to take control of their diversity and include younger people with different mindsets and fresh ideas, as it's really refreshing to be in a board meeting where you do have different challenges and ideas coming through, and it just means that your offering will hopefully be more relevant to your target audience as well. Our board is predominantly made up of our members, which then means that the majority of our board is a very young age base, which is fantastic as it gives them the opportunity to develop their skill set, to take it into their career and lives, and also help the industry and companies out with the industry if our members decide to be involved with them. While it is a fantastic opportunity for our members to be board members, it also poses some challenges where we are dealing with a very young base of people which perhaps don't always have the experience and skill set to deal with certain issues. And because of that, we decided to diversify our board and invite older people onto the board that have got experiences and skill sets in the areas that we were falling short with. And that has been a great development to our board, as not only is it helping the organisation grow, it's also helping our members to develop their knowledge of how to run a board, which is what we're all about as an organisation, is developing our rural youth. Typically in the past, our board was made up of members who had been through a similar process to get onto the board, which then meant that we had a situation where we had a lot of groupthink going on. And the board was set up that way because when the organisation was set up, that served the purpose of the organisation, and it got us to where it is now, and it has been a real asset to the organisation. But as legislation's progressed and the requirements of our board have progressed, we took the initiative last year to develop our board structure. We now typically have majority of our board still being members, and that is crucial because we're a member-led organisation. We've developed the board to invite people out with the organisation to give a fresh perspective so that we can enhance our offering and also be more relevant to those that aren't involved with the organisation already. And that has made a huge difference into the way that we operate. As like I said earlier, we had a situation where we were all very similar, and now we're bringing in more diverse thoughts, knowledge and skills, which has been a real asset, and hopefully we'll see that asset develop so the organisation can grow and have further impact in the future. I've gained so much from becoming a trustee of Scots Station Young Farmers Clubs. I developed my confidence, I learned how to chair Board of Trustees meetings, I developed my network and skill set and learned how a member-led organisation works from the top. I also developed my knowledge of the charity sector, and it really opened up my skill set, mindset and network with other organisations, as when you're the chair of a board of trustees, you're also involved with other companies, organisations, funders, and through that you learn from them as well. So I have got a huge amount from being a board of trustees member, so I'd recommend it to anyone that's thinking of giving a shot. I was in a really fortunate position that before taking on the trustee role, I had worked for an organisation which was a multinational PLC, and I was involved with their board, so I had an understanding of how boards operated from that. But with that, I also was surprised to learn how different a private board and a charity board operate differently. I also learned that you don't need to be an expert in every field to be a valuable contribution to a board. It's actually really valuable to have people with different experiences, skill sets and mindsets. And I was also really surprised about how much I'd learned about how to run an organisation, especially a charity and a member-led charity. So I learned a great deal from the experience. I think it's really important for several reasons. First of all, for a personal reason, you really learn to develop your skill set through understanding how a different organisation works and being involved with setting a strategy for an organisation. And through being on a board, your network develops immensely as well, which is really valuable. And then in terms of for the charity, it's important that people take up the roles because your skill set and experience is really valuable to make a charity grow and develop, and that can help that charity and that cause have further impact. I think if I could start that role again, I would spend more time at the start trying to get to know the board of trustees better. You tend to only meet 4 to 6 times a year, and that varies depending on different boards, which is not a lot of time to actually get to know the people that you're working with. And I think it'd be really valuable to be able to understand them a bit better, know a bit more about their backgrounds and skill set, and even just their life. So yes, looking back, I think it's really good to make the time at the start of the experience of being a board of trustees member to actually get to know your team on the board.